Hello and welcome to my show. My name is Ali O'Shea and the name of my podcast is Soul Expansion and Inspiration. And I'd like to give a very warm welcome to Amanda Gibbs, who's here with us today. Amanda is a color therapist trained by the Color Ministry. She also has Reiki training level 1, which she uses to infuse the products that she sells. She heals with color therapy and crystal therapy. Hello and welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for being on my show with me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Hope you are too.
I'm doing great, thank you. So you say that your journey started, Amanda, when you were about 17 years old, and you started to be aware of spirit trying to communicate with you, and you became a little bit scared, as I think a lot of people do when spirits try to communicate with them and they're not really sure what's going on. Would you let us know how you did indeed get over your fears of having spirit trying to communicate with you and what your first experiences were with that?
Yeah, certainly. So I was always very interested in anything spiritual. You know, I had crystals, I had essential oils. I loved reading my, your star signs. So, a bit interested in the astrology. And I started to go with friends to see mediums. It was something that was quite popular back then, and we kind of went to see a few locally. And my first experience really, we were going to see this lady in the evening, and all day I just kept getting this name come to my head. And I was like, what do you think about that name? And I kept pushing it out of my head. So me and my friend, we went and we met this lady and we had a reading, and she was fabulous. And then she said to me, she said, "You've got something to tell me, dear, haven't you?" And I said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, "No, you have. You've got a message for me." She said, "No, tell me. You can tell me. It's fine." And I just said, "Well, I just keep getting this name all day." And the name was Rose. And she said to me, "Oh, that's my friend, dear." She said she passed a couple of weeks ago. And then as she said that to me, my friend on the sofa grabbed my hand and she said, "Are you okay?" And I just felt like something almost like touching me. And she said, "Oh, don't worry, she's just gone through you." So, I'm like 17 going on 18 years old at the time. And I was like, whoa, this is, I felt comfortable with this lady. And I always used to get lovely smells when I went to her for a reading. And I would start to see like light around her, which I later found out was her aura. I just felt really comfortable in that environment, but not when they came close to me like that. So I think I just I did embrace it for a while, and I sat in a development circle. I then started finding I was attracting all these medium people, spiritual people, and like the right people always come in at the right time. So I had a friend that taught me how to read tarot, and we went and sat in a development circle, which was great. I was starting to become really, really aware, and with the tarot I would take people right back to their childhood, and I say, "Oh, I can see this and I can see that," and it was really, really strong. And then I think that's when it started to scare me, because obviously I was embracing these gifts and throwing it out to the universe there by going to the circle that, yes, I want to develop. So they came in closer. And I saw a few people go into like trance mediumship, and I was like, oh, this is a bit, because I'm still young at this point. And I found it a little bit scary. And then I very much think that we get moved into different pathways and different things come along in life. And for a long time, I just blocked it. So my intuition was still there. I just knew stuff, I knew if someone was lying to me. I was very, very aware of people's energy. I would really get upset, when people near me were upset. I was very emotional. But I blocked it for a lot of years. And then sort of more in the kind of the last 4 or 5 years, I've felt more comfortable. I guess as I've matured, I've felt more comfortable to kind of say, okay, let's see what this all is about. Let's really kind of embrace it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, who go through that, as I said earlier, I'm obviously have a lot of medium friends, psychic friends, and, I've seen a lot of that where people have, tried to push it back down, but that it is their spiritual paths unbeknownst to them, maybe earlier on, and then eventually they have to come back really and embrace it, because you know, the universe just keeps putting it there, doesn't it? You know.
It does. And funny enough, all of these people that were at the beginning of my spiritual journey have started, we lost touch for years, and then they've started to come back into my life one by one. And even people who at that time I wouldn't have said were spiritual people have come back into my life, and they've really evolved spiritually as well. So I'm kind of reconnecting with a lot of my friends from my teenage years.
Wow.
Who, you know, it's like, well, I've done the little bit of life and learning all the hard lessons.
Yes.
Now it's time to put me back on that spiritual journey, and they're bringing me all the right people again, and it's amazing.
It's all those little synchronicities, isn't it? The little synchronicities that the universe brings you, all your old friends that you knew. And wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. So what I really am excited to talk to you about as well is the fact that you're a color therapist. And it sounds absolutely fascinating. I know you've told me a little bit about it, but please could you tell the listeners how you know, the detail of what you do with color therapy, what color therapy is, and how you use that in conjunction as well with crystals. Because I used to own a crystal shop. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. So color is based on the numerology system, in that, well, there's a couple of different parts to color. So you've got the color personalities, which is based on your date of birth, as in with numerology, but not your name. It's just your date of birth, because I think with numerology that's your name as well. So it's your date of birth, and then there's a 9 color system which links to your chakras. So it takes into account the 7 best known chakras, so right up to your crown chakra, but then you have 2 more above that which aren't as well kind of, you know, portrayed.
About known.
Yeah, exactly. And each of those colours relates obviously to the chakra and to a number, so it then ties in with the numerology. So from your date of birth I can tell you what your inner child colour is, so the colour that you came into the world as, and you would have been in that energy until you were about 12. Then you have a skills colour, which is based on the month of your date, the month of your birth. And then you have a year colour, which is your aspirations. So you then add the 3 numbers together, which then gives you your soul number, and that is kind of like your main colour, is what you're all about. And obviously each colour has different personality attributes, it has different healing attributes, and I now find myself looking at people, and obviously used to read their energy before, but now I'm kind of reading it, I'm thinking, yeah, you're a red, or, you know, somebody will say something and I'm like, yeah, that's your magenta. You know, it is a real language, but it dates way back to like Egyptian times and even earlier, where the Egyptians had healing rooms of specific colours, and depending on what ailments people had, they would send them off to these different coloured rooms to treat what it was that they needed. So it's ancient, and it always has been a language, but we've kind of forgotten to use it. It's all to do with vibration, so each colour vibrates at a different frequency, and then it's to do with how our eyes read those vibrations. So the energy of a colour red, you know, we know that colour as red, and we know that vibration, and it's just kind of tying it all in, really. So you can use the colours to understand yourself better, to know kind of, you know, what would be a good career for you, what are your tricky bits, you know, what do you need to watch, that's kind of traits that are linked to that colour. And also it's great to do for children, because you can see what their gifts are going to be, what they're going to grow into, you know, and so that parents can nurture that and kind of really work with the children's colours, you know, to kind of develop them.
Yes,
so
that's
it's
amazing.
Brilliant.
And do you, when you give somebody their colour then, so it kind of breaks down, as you said, the things, their aspirations, and you know, maybe can help with their career and different bits and pieces like that. Do you suggest then that that person wears more of that colour as well, or not, or has that got nothing to do with it?
Yeah, no, you can. That is a really good way to bring it in. So sometimes people will have double or triple colours. So if somebody had like double or triple of a colour, they would really be more in that energy. And then I wouldn't give them more of that colour, because they've already got it, they're strong, and they may then be struggling with something where there's an appropriate complementary colour to bring in. So it's kind of like looking at the chart and just really having a chat through, you know, what are people struggling with? You know, are there any areas of their life, you know, maybe some people struggle with their spirituality, and kind of you can see, depending on what colours they have, what battles they might be kind of up against, and then you can bring the different complementary colours in, or more of particular colours. And you can also so with your aspirations, that's your life lesson, so it's what you're here to learn. You can also plot those against other people in the family, you know, in marriages, in families with children, and you can see what you're all learning from each other, what your aspirations are, and you can see whether you've been together in previous lives.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really amazing. And it's so unusual. You know, I haven't, as I said to you, I think I'd heard of it in the past, but I haven't heard of anyone else doing it. So it's quite unique, isn't it, at this stage, probably?
It is. It is. And I had always had an affinity to colour. I used to be a mobile hairdresser, and I never wanted to cut hair. I just wanted to colour it all the time. I loved playing with the colours. I knew all my colours before I went to school. My mum taught me with a tube of Smarties. You know, if you get the colour right, you can have the Smartie. So I always loved colour. But I bumped into Alison Standage, who runs the colour ministry, at a local wellbeing fair, and we got chatting, and she did my colours for me. She was like, you know, well, this is you, this is what you're like, and she was advertising for a workshop and a colour evening. She lives about an hour away from me, and I was like, look, I'm really interested in this, I really want to come down. And I didn't end up going to that one, but I ended up then thinking, this is something I want to incorporate into my spiritual business. And so I started training with her. And it's just opened my eyes so much to just how supportive colour can be, and just how much more we can do with it. It's I'm really excited for the future.
I'm very excited for you. I mean, it sounds absolutely amazing. And as I said, so unique, and just, I think the listeners will love that, because I'm sure that they've probably not heard of it either. So that's amazing. And then with crystals as well, obviously we've got all different kinds of colored crystals, and you infuse your Reiki into your crystals as well. Do you sell crystals?
I was selling crystals a little bit, but I've now found that it's a bit time consuming, and you have to carry lots of stock. So I more kind of work with them. I work in conjunction with a friend of mine who supplies crystals, so I can still kind of, you know, offer that service. But what I mostly use the crystals for now is for when I'm doing the colour healing sessions, but also we make coloured aura sprays. So we infuse filtered water with the correct crystal. So we put the intentions in, you know, the different attributes of each colour. We put the crystals in, and then we have, so with colour therapy, it's incorporating light therapy as well. So when you put light onto the body, it basically awakens the cells and gets them to start doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then we have coloured lenses that you put over the light, so you can penetrate the water with those colours, and you would do the same with the body when you're having a healing treatment. So we put the colour in, and then we put essential oils in, and we put the Reiki in. So we make big batches of these aura sprays, and you literally just spray them into your aura, depending, you know, what support you need. Myself, I use an indigo one a lot, because I have difficulty in switching off and going to sleep. I have a very, very busy mind, and that's do with my skills colour. So I use the indigo one at bedtime, and it just helps me to switch off and to be able to sleep.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So do you do mind, body, spirit shows and things like that then? Because they're the kind of products that would really sell at those types of shows.
Yeah, we are at, so we're doing a business, myself and Alison, who runs the colour ministry, we're doing a business event in May. It's the Business Expo, so we've got a stand there. That's very much geared towards the corporate side, so it's helping CEOs, managers to understand their staff's personalities, and understand their communication styles as well, because we all communicate in different ways depending on our colours. So we're doing that in May, and then in July we're at the Bloom show, which is also in London. And
Heard of
that
that.
is a big well-being event for all kinds of holistic and well-being, and it's really geared towards ladies. So yeah, we're doing those two this year, and there's lots of exciting stuff coming on. We're looking at a colour app. We're looking at new books. Alison's written books, so we're looking at a new book as well. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming on. I'm just so blessed to
I'm
be a
so
part of it.
excited for you. It sounds amazing. Honestly, it really does. Yeah, really excited for you. I know that it's going to go amazing for you. You run a spiritual development group on Facebook.
Yes, we do.
What's that called? And is it a free group or is it a paid group? And what can people expect if they would like to join it?
Okay, so it's called Spiritual Hearts. It is a free group. I basically started the group up because I wanted to offer support to people who kind of, like me when I was at the beginning of my journey, until I found that development circle. It was kind of knowing, are there other people out there that you can talk to about what you're feeling? Are there people you can learn from? You know, I was very fortunate to have a mentor who became my best friend. And I learned, you know, I say she taught me tarot. I learned a lot of different things. But I know that there's a lot of people that don't have access to that. And especially if you live somewhere quite remote, there might not be a circle near you for miles. So I wanted to create a place online that people from all over the world could come to. And it's like a community. So it's very much, we have people from really, really new beginners at the very start of their spiritual journey. And then we have more experienced girls in there who I've met through networking, you know, who offer all different kinds of support. And we get guest speakers to come in. I'd love you to come in and talk about your law of attraction stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you.
Yeah, we just get different people coming in. I post about, so I do a daily colour post, which I pop in Spiritual Hearts. And I've also got a colour group, the Queen of Colour. So each day I post in there what the day's energy is, what we can kind of expect from the day's energy, what we might be feeling like today, what would be good things to do to embrace that energy. So I post in there every day, and it's just a really nice supportive
community group.
Yeah, we do run some courses. We do run some paid courses, but they are only ever £20 a head. You know, we want to keep it really affordable for people.
I was going to ask you that actually. Do you do workshops? That was going to be my next question. Do you do any workshops or programs to teach what you do?
Yes.
Is it basically to teach what you do for the color therapy, or is it both?
Well, a bit of both. A bit of both. So we have like we do it on Zoom, and it's like an online spiritual development. We do it with a small group, and we do things that kind of stretch the intuition, that get the girls to kind of identify what their gifts are and to help them to develop them. You know, we talk about everything from the basics, you know, from like grounding and protection, how to identify with your spirit guides, and then different ways to read energy. And we just kind of advance that more and more. So as the girls get ready for the next bit, and then we'll start with the new ones again, and kind of, you know, so we do it in small groups. We do it over a month because everybody's really busy. You know, it's impossible to get on lives every night, and you know, we've all got things that we do in our lives, so we take it nice and slow. We do it kind of once a week. We get together on Zoom, we record it, so if anyone misses it, they can come and catch up, and it's just a nice, small, intimate kind of setting.
That's lovely, yeah.
And at the moment I'm running a colour therapy, colour healing with Crystal Insight. So with my friend Rachel Siddons, who runs Secura Bliss. She's very knowledgeable on crystals. So we've put together a course at the moment which we're running, which we're just taking everybody through the different colours. You know, from a healing point of view, like what does our body look like when it's unbalanced with a colour, what kind of health things that people are experiencing, which colours they relate to, and how they can bring colour and crystals in to rebalance their chakras, to just kind of help with health issues and emotional issues. This is the first time we've brought this course in, but it's going so well, we're going to keep rerunning it. So
sounds brilliant. I love all that. I love all that stuff. It's yeah, it sounds absolutely brilliant. So Have you got anything else that you would like to share with the listeners that we haven't touched on today? Like you said that it's okay to be scared to start with on your journey, and that you know, when the time is right, that you will connect with your gifts.
Yeah.
Is that really the message that you would like to leave with everybody today, or is there?
No.
I mean, is there other things that you would like to tell our listeners?
I think really what I'd like to say to people is, you know, don't be afraid that people are going to think that you're daft, you know, that if you're getting something coming to you, that you're thinking about something. I think we often question, you know, is that my thought, or is that my intuition, or is that someone putting that thought there? And I think, you know, often out of fear of like being judged, or people saying, oh my God, what are you talking about? You know, that we then hold ourselves back. I would like to say to people, you know, really take it at a slow and steady pace, and make sure that you're kind of, that you just, yeah, I mean, you're grounding and protecting, because I think that was the main thing that scared me, was the fact that I was open all of the time.
Yes.
And, you know, it was just all coming so quickly. And of course I wanted to do that because I was seeing all these people around me that were doing psychic fairs and doing readings, and I was like, yeah, you know, but I was just too young, and I was too out of control. So I think, yeah, just to kind of say, you know, reach out to anybody who is spiritual, that, you know, they will have a lovely heart, they will want to help you, and just kind of, yeah, don't feel you have to hide who you are, because people are going to judge you, because, you know, that's not your tribe. If those people are not going to understand you and they're going to judge you, then they're not your tribe. And your tribe is out there, that there's people that you can, you know, that will relate to you and will completely understand what you're going through and will be able to help you. So I just regret staying in the closet as long as I did, you know, out of fear that people would judge me, because I could have helped a lot more people. So yeah, I think that's what I just want to say to people is, don't be scared to be yourself, and just to reach out, you know.
I totally agree with you. I think we all need a soul tribe, you know, no matter what it is that we're going through on this life journey, you know, to connect with other like-minded people is so important, and to have the support of them. So I totally agree with you.
Absolutely.
One other thing that I wanted to ask you was, do you do any live workshops, like live workshops? I know you're doing the shows and things like that, but do you do any live workshops where you live, or anything like that?
We are starting up a local development circle. So ladies who are in the Surrey area, we're in Surrey, I'm based in Red Hill. So ladies who are in that area could reach out. Yeah, we're just going to be just taking it at a real steady pace, and just going through all the basics, and just all helping each other, doing stuff every week that's just going to safely open us up and help us to learn more and more. So there are some other things coming later in the year, all kind of in the discussion phases at the moment, but there's talks of some collaborations with bringing sound in with colour. And also with bringing light language in with colour, because that is again very connected with the colour. So there will be workshops coming. If people want to be kept in the loop, they can come over and join Spiritual Hearts. It will all be posted in there.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I actually have a girl on my page who does light language.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. And where can people reach you, Amanda, if they want to get hold of you? Where's the best place to reach? Have you got a website, or is your Facebook the best place? Or?
Yeah, Facebook. I'm constantly on Facebook.
I live on Facebook. I say I live on Facebook. When people ask my address, I say Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just they can drop me a friend's request or inbox me. I'm always open to connecting and helping, you know, just supporting other people. That's what it's all about, is raising our vibration by helping each other, sharing the love. So yeah, I'm more than happy for anybody to contact me on Facebook. Or like I said, I've got the two groups, Spiritual Hearts and Queen of Colour. So yeah, that's probably the best way to contact me. I don't have a website yet.
Okay. Spiritual Hearts and Queens of Colour.
Queen of Colour.
Queen of Colour. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if you do want a website built, my husband's is doing all that. He did mine for me. So
fabulous. I will need one soon. I will need one soon. Oh, I should just also mention as well, we've just launched a new, well, we're just in pre-launch for a new product at the moment. We're making I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, the orgonite crystal pyramids, where you put the, where you put the,
I might be saying it wrong.
they basically have crystals in them and colour. And so we're starting to make those. I do that with a friend of mine. It just sort of started off as a bit of a hobby, really, but we're getting orders for people who want them in their own colours, or who want to bring in complementary colours. And that's another thing that can support with the healing. So yeah, just to let you know, that is going to be launched very soon.
Fantastic. And I'd just like to clarify for everybody that your surname is spelled Gibbs, Amanda Gibbs, just so that they can find you okay on Facebook.
That's lovely, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here with me today, and thank you so much for explaining all of that, because it's absolutely, it's so exciting, all the things that you're doing, and I'm sure that the listeners will be as excited as I am about what you've just told me, because it's really intriguing.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody wants to ask about any colours. I do colour readings, so I do like we're doing now, you know, video. Yeah, I do that. So that's another way that I can support people, because there's lots of different areas that people need support with, and I just find that one-to-one is better. So that's another way people can reach out if they want some support with that. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. It's been a pleasure having you as my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we'll say namaste, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.